as Sonia, I really like pets, so I have 4 dogs, but unfortunately just one lives with me. Yes, but just one lives here with me, and the others stay with my mother because I live in a small apartment. So for them, it's better stay with my mother in a house. And I think that's it.
And I understand you totally. I had a pet, a dog as well, and he couldn't live with me. Okay, and I think we have Isabelle and Jen online. They are going to be listeners, so we can get started. And to complete, my name is Luan. I'm from Belém, not exactly Belém, but I'm from Pará, north of Brazil, and I have been living in Ribeirão Preto, São Paulo, since last year. I came here to do my master's degrees. I'm a pharmacist and study pharmacology and how pharmacology works, especially cardiovascular diseases, for example, preeclampsia, hypertension, and other diseases. And I've been here since September last year, almost 1 year and a half, and being a host. And I'm glad, I'm so happy to be a host here, that I receive you and I can grow up and develop my skills with you, and that's exactly the same. And we can get started. I said that's about the topic. Let me copy the topic for Isabella and Jane, especially. 1 second. And I'm struggling with my with my keyboard. Yes. One more question. Question number 10. It's okay. Fine. So we are not a professors, not going to correct to you, and we are online. So hello, YouTube. And we have to answer the question number 2. I think this immersion is going to be fast because the questions are direct. So, what is your first memory ever? So, qual é a tua primeira memória? What is your first memory ever that you remember in your childhood? Nachi, what is your first memory ever?
Actually, my memory is terrible. I don't have a lot of memories from my childhood, but I think one that I always remember because it was so embarrassing was when my 5-year-old birthday, when the person started to sing happy birthday to me. I don't know why I still felt ashamed and decided to go under the table, and my parents tried to convince me to leave and continue the singer, and I was just crying and wanted to stay under the table. I don't know why. I was just 5 years old in that moment. Yes, 5. I don't know why I did this, but it's something that I always remember. And until now, I don't like people saying happy birthday to me.
Really nice one. Because I think I was 3 years old, but I tell you later. And you, Sonia?
I think my first memory is me when I was 3, playing in the floor with a friend of mine who lives in my house. She is American. She worked at the Peace Corps, and she lives in my house for 2 years. And she called Martina. Until today, I talk with her. She's part of my family. I'm sorry. She lives in California, and she, I don't know, enseñar, the past of teach. Ella me enseñó a leer when I was 3 years, and I learned a lot with her. When I was 4, I start the school because I could read and write, and it was very good for me because it was like a play. I learned playing, and it was very good for me. And I remember perfectly the plays and the cards with the letters. It's a good memory for me. I think that's all.
For now.
Can you listen to me?
I think he is left.
I think Luan is not here.
Yes.
Maybe his connection.
Yeah.
William,
he's
are
not.
you?
He's
Você
not.
você tá me escutando?
Guys, sorry. There was a
Yeah, but
snap. No, there was a snap on my not network, but my energy in the house. I don't know
okay.
what happened, and I was speaking to myself, and I realized that you were frozen. You all were frozen, so oh, something happened. But I listened, but my video wasn't function. But there was an interesting there were interesting memories that you both, because my memory is terrible. When I was I don't know, 3 years old, and I remember that I jumped out a faucet, and I heard my yeah this I heard this. It was terrible because my mother got me on the hospital. A bunch of blood and something. I didn't know why I did this, but I did. I think it's a kid. I don't know, kids playing. Oh, and another memory, and that's about the World Cup. Brazil won the World Cup in 2002, and I remember the match of Brazil and Turkey. Brazil and Turkey. Brazil won, Turkey 0, and I just remember my family watching this game in the middle of the night because the plane was in Japan. That was a really nice one. And our next one, guys, here is question number 3. So, what is your happiest childhood memory and your saddest? So, you were happy, you were sad, and what is your happiest childhood and what is your sadness? Sonia, can you remember this one?
Yes, I don't have one happiest moment. I think all my happiest moment of my childhood was with the time that I spent with my grandfathers and my grandmother. I spent a lot of time with them, and it's was very good for me because I remember many times with them, and a lot of love and a lot of play with them. It's very good for me. I had I am a lucky person because I could spend a lot of time with my grandpa and my grandmother. And my saddest memory, I have a lot, but I don't want to talk about them. And maybe one of the sad moments that I remember is when my grandmother, the mother of my father, died. And my father received the information that his mother died, and I remember my dad crying, and it was so sad for me because I was 8 or 9, but I didn't understand what happened with my father, and I felt so sad and worried about it. And I think that's that's the what was a sad moment for me.
Then I feel you completely because I was 8 when one of my uncle died, and I was a kid and I didn't comprehend anything. What happened? Uh, is he never coming back to our home? Why? Why it's happened? Or why my father is crying? There's a reason, there's a specific reason. And bury him, it was terrible because we go to the cemetery and I had never go there. It was a shock. It was a shock as a kid. And I think it's the saddest memory, because imagine your whole family never understanding anything as a kid, and other, not the other relatives, oh, you're gonna be fine, but you never understand that. You're a kid, so you're just about a picture in the world or something. And I think it's my happy childhood memories when I found 50 reais on the street. And I think it's 50 reais, it's about I don't know, $10. And I was so happy about that when I found it there, because I bought a bunch of candies and not toys. And that, imagine 15 years ago, 50 reais. Oh, I was rich. Now it's anything. It's anything. I think that's sad. My happiest memory is I found money on the street. That is a really sad. And you, Nati, what is your happiest childhood memory and your sadness?
I think my happiest was when my parents gave to me a Barbie, because I always want to a Barbie, but I was a poor kid, so I continue poor, but when I was a kid, Barbie was very expensive, so my parents couldn't give me one, but when they gave me on a Christmas, was very nice, and I feel very happy. And I think with the saddest was a really embarrassing thing. When I was a kid, I really liked Chiquititos. And all the time that a kid that don't have mother starts to sing a song, I'm always crying because I feel very sad, and I start to think my parents won't come home anymore. I don't know why, and I always feel very sad. And of course, my sisters start to make fun of me because of this.
But quickly question: have you seen the new Barbie's films?
Yes, yesterday. Yesterday I went to the
because
movie.
they got you a Barbie, so I believe that you already seen the film, and I did too. I think it's about last month. I went with my girlfriend last month there. It was such a nice film movie. Strongly recommended. Did you like it?
Yes, because for me it was just the Barbie that I really like when I was a kid. I didn't see this, oh, it's a feminist movie or it's a movie that is said hate men and kill men. For me, it's just the Barbie that I really liked when I was a kid.
Nice one, really nice one. And our next one is, what is your favorite children's stories all the time? I have to think on this because I have some stories about my childhood. But Sonia, do you have one favorite children's stories of your life or others' life?
I don't know if I have one. Uh, I read it a lot when I was child, and one book that I remember is Robinson Crusoe. It's a book. It's not a infant. I don't know. It's infantile story, but I remember it because I like it so much. It was a book, a big book, and not a small book with drawers or something. It's only leather, but I read it when I was 4 or 5 years. And I think this is my favorite because that I remember.
That I think it was a good one. It was a good, I was thinking of other kind of stuff, but thanks for sharing this one. And you, Nachi, do you have favorite children's stories?
I don't know if it's a favorite, but what I remember now is when I was a kid, I always went with my father for. My father is from a labor union. He always was, and I went with him to the factories to ask people to make strikes when it was necessary. So in my entire childhood, I did this with my father, and for me, it's like a daughter and father moment. A little strange one, but I really enjoy when I was a kid.
I was really thinking of other stuff because one day, I don't know, I was 10 or 9, and I run away of my home, and I say to my parents, I'm going to play with my friends in the front of our house, and my parents, okay, really. And but they caught me, and no, I don't know. They brought me out of the street. I 10 streets ahead, 10 streets ahead. So my street was the street number 1, and I was in the street number 10. And my parents were searching for me, and I was on my street, and they got angry, really angry. And when they found me, they tried to beat me. But I run away, run ahead to our home. And when I got there, they only say, never do that again. We won't forgive you. How I can say, you betray my trust. Blah 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 blah. Said 2 hours of, and but they were only worried about me. Now I know it, but in my kids' minds, I just think, what a boring parents. I hate them, but it's not true. I think is not really true, but
When I was a children, you don't understand the entire situation, because I did something like this. I said to my parents that I went to a friend's house and going to another neighborhood with this friend. I stayed all day without having, because we don't have cell phone in my childhood, so my parents thinks I was kidnapped. And
I didn't
angry.
have a phone. I think you didn't. I didn't. Sonia didn't have a phone.
Yes, I did it. I went with my sister to a river. It's not a river, it's a small river, and spend time there. My parents never knowing that we did.
Really good one to know that. And our next one is our question number 5. That's a really good topic. I'm enjoying to doing this. And the question number is 5. Do you have a special song that was sung to you by either of your parents when you were about to sleep, for example? Lullaby, canção de ninar. Não sei como se habla en español. It's a lullaby. Or was it? Can you sing it? Or if you're not comfortable to sing it, just say what music is that. Nachi, do you have a special song?
So my father works at night, so he always never at home when I went to bed. But my mother is not, how can I say, her loving, I don't know how to say it now, linguagens do amor, her love language is not this kind of things. It's just doing things for us, not to die when I was a kid.
I understand. Let me do it a cake or something, but never sing a song. That I understand completely. And you, Sonia, do you have a special song?
No, I have a lot of songs that I remember with my childhood, but my parents didn't song me, never. They wasn't a lovely parents, but always in my house, I will listen to music, and I can sing all of the songs that I listened when I was a child. I don't know why, because I like it very much, the music. For example, the child music for children. We had a very famous composer from Argentina called Maria Elena Walsh. I know all these songs, but I listen music from Frank Sinatra, Roberto Carlos. I know all
Roberto
the
Carlos
songs that Roberto Carlos.
Lady Laura.
Or Lady Laura, all you can imagine, but in Spanish.
I know there's a Spanish versions of Roberto Carlos songs.
Yes, he has a long plays in my time in Spanish, all in Spanish, but I know all these songs. Julio Iglesias, all that you can imagine, and I know until now the songs. My husband sometimes is very impressed, because he said, "You are a human rocola." I don't know how is rocola, that you put the corner and you choose the song in the bars of the movie. And he says, you are a human Rocola, because I know all the song that sounds on the TV or on the radio, because I like it to sing very much. Until now, it's very distress for me. I sing in the concerts. When I go to the concert, I love to going to the concerts, the musical shows, or maybe karaoke. I don't have, but I would like it. My neighbors are not very happy with it, but it's very distress for me. But I don't want to sing anything here. Any song.
Me neither. But good to know that, because there was a good one, characters. There's a part of a while that I really like it. People who enjoy songs, and I do not have one because my mother, like Nati's mother, it's not her type, to sing, but my father was alcoholic, addictive years ago, and nowadays and other times he always likes to share YouTube songs that he likes in house to our house to listen at her songs. And when I was trying to sleeping the weekends, for example, he always trying to not sing but trying to bring us back to dance with him. Some songs, for example, that I like to sharing with you here. That's a O Rapa. There was a banda. It's a famous band in Brazil. It's a famous band, and he loves O Rapa, and he was always trying to make us to like this band, and then I really like this band because of him. And it was fun. There was a night of fun when the guys is drinking and we are with him and try to dance or try to sing. But I'm not singing. I don't want to sing here. But there was a good memories of childhood, but not especially in my teenager, when I was a teenager and I was adulting. And it's already happening in my home right now, but I'm far from it, unfortunately. And our next one is question number 6. How is life different today compares to when you were a child? So 10 years ago, 20 years ago, I don't know. Sonia, how's life is different today when you were a child?
I think my life changed a lot, because when I was child, my father was alcoholic too, and he was a violent person. I suffer, and my sister too, but I think I suffer violence, physical violence and psychological violence, and I live with afraid of scared because he screamed a lot. I lived with afraid. It was not a good childhood, really. But some days it's not casualidad that today I work with victims or survivors of domestic violence in my work. And I work a lot on me, on therapy when I was since I was teenager, to superar, to forgive my parents, my father, sorry, to forgive my father and try to don't be a violent person or try to don't be a victim person. And I get to forgive him at all. He dies the last year, and I take care of him when he was sick, and it was good for me. And nowadays I have a happy marriage with my husband, full of respect, and we don't scream each other. We talk a lot, and we have respect from each other. And my marriage is full of love. It's very, very different of that I remember in my childhood.
No, I'm so happy for you because here this is really good one. I know it's not a happy story that when it comes, when it starts, but I'm glad to hear that you're so much better now than your childhood, because childhood can be traumatically, and there's a
Yes.
consequences. By far from me, there was a consequences in psychological health and beyond. But I'm so happy to hear it for you. Thanks for sharing. Thank you. And you, Nachi, how is life to you is different today compared to when you were a child?
Now I'm living in a quiet place because I'm living just by myself. And when I was a kid, I lived with my father, of course. And my father is an alcoholic too. And he is not aggressive, this kind of thing. But in my house, in my parents' house, always have a lot of people because his friends going to the house and the relative of my mother. And I'm not a person that like stay in a place with a lot of persons. So when I could leave my parents' house and start to live just by myself, for me was better. And I think it's different now. Other things about the technology. When I was a kid, we don't have the internet was not like that, so things were more difficult to learn at the school. And now I don't have kids, but I have a nephew and a niece, and I saw how things is easier for them about these things at school, but sometimes it's not so good because I was talking with the mother of my nephew, and she was said that some kids, she's a teacher, some kids was depressive and thinks about suicide, and kids just have 10 years old, 11 years old. I was thinking, what is happening with these kids today? Because when I was a child, no one thinks about this. My friends didn't think about this, me didn't think about this. And she said it's about the technology. So they receive a lot of information and make feel worse for them. So it's good for a way and not so good for the other side.
No, really interesting point, because I didn't know depression when I was a kid, depression, anxiety. The things that there wasn't information about it, about the diseases or something in internet. I didn't have a phone, and I just was gifted a phone in, I don't know, 10 years ago. And I think today things are more expensive. It's about supermarket, cars, houses. I think it's more expensive to all of us. And I don't know, it's how it's different. I think it's my little brother is so much smarter than me, because I didn't have information. I had to go to the library when I was a teenager to study to go into college to get in the college, I had to study in the library, and now he hasn't to do that. But anyway, not, and on the other hand, he doesn't have any information about to get a bus because all the information is on his computer, and I have to search in other libraries in the city. So I think it's really different, but I think it's so much better. And now something happens and is quickly is on the internet. It's good for you to express yourself, and so for me it's so much better. And the next one here it is, where did you go to school? I think it's the place, city. And where did you grow up? When I was looking, not looking, but when I was creating the question, I was thinking of myself, because I changed so much the cities and places, but I want to hear from you. So Nachi, when did you go to school? Where did you go to school? Where did you grow up?
Here in Ceará, I was born in Juazeiro do Norte, but when I was 3 years old, I think, I moved to Calcaia. That's a city near to Fortaleza. And I spent all my entire childhood, teenage, the adolescence, and some parts of the adult life there. And I go to school in a school for the neighborhood. So I started, I don't know, I started and finished in the same school, but I have to leave it, I think 2-3 years for other school, but almost I spent my entire life in a school in Calcaia.
No, so we didn't move
No.
so much.
No.
Interesting to know that. And you, Sonia, where did you go to school and where did you grow up? Is the same city or was different?
No, I was born in a small town from Paraguay called Uvucuí. It's the name in
What?
Guarani.
Oh,
Uvucuí. It's
Uvucuí.
hard for you to say in Guarani. Yes, and I went to school there in Uvucuí. The school was very near from my house. And when I was 13, my parents divorced, and we moved with my mother here in Asunción, and I grew up here in Asunción. Until now, I live here, and I like the city. I like Asunción. I go sometimes to visit Uvucuí, but I don't like. It's very quiet for me. It's like the town stayed in time. The time didn't pass in that town. And my father lived there until he died. And I don't know if I have some reasons to go.
To go back.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I think it's the good history because there was similar, I think, to me, because I was born in the city and my almost entire family still lives there. It's hardly name, São Sebastião da Boa Vista. It's a huge name. It's in the north of Brazil, and my family moved to Belém. It's the capital of the state in the north of Brazil. And I will grow up there, but we live in another city. It's called a huge name as well, Ananindeua. I don't know. The city is in Pará. They're horrible names. And after that, I think I moved to 4 four times when I was a kid, because we cannot pay the rent. Let's move. We cannot pay the rent. We cannot pay the rent again. And stable, we're not stable. The jobs were different, so we have to move to. And that is the reason I don't have any friend from my childhood at all. Yeah, I think it's sad, but it is what it is. And after that, we stabilized in Belém, and I grew up there. And later in adulthood, I moved from São Paulo, but I think it's my how I can say, my childhood was a mess. It's about to grow up in a place. And I think we have time to our last question. Here is about the question number 8. So, was learning to read and write was learning to read and write a struggle for you when your process of learning? When I was a kid, I suppose. So, Nachi, was struggling for you? Was difficult, hard?
No, actually was very easy. My father, he helped me, so I don't just learn it at school, at my house. My father tried to teach me too, because he can't finish his school, because he live in a countryside. His parents died when he was younger. My mother too, he didn't finish it. He's almost analphabet. I don't know how to say. And so for him, it was very, he really wants that we finish the school and be good at school. So he tried to help me to learn to read and write, because he didn't live with his parents.
Good one to say. And you, Sonia, was learning to read and write, was to you a struggle, hard, or something?
No, not at all. For me, it was a very, very easy, because I learned to read and to write playing with my friends in my house, and it was like a game for me. So I think the learnership process was very, very easy for me, and it wasn't hard, not at all. No.
No, I think for me it wasn't difficult, but I had a problem with not my voice. I have adenoid. I don't know it's the name of in English. Yeah, but there was a serious problem. So I had to difficult to after my surgery, because the people say that my voice changed. And after that I don't know, I stayed almost 1 month without speaking anything. It was terrible, because I was almost learning on the contrary to not read but to speaking, and it was not good. But thanks God, it's all over. And we can skip to our last question number 10. That will be the last one. There was a quickly question. So can you remember your first kiss? With whom? If you feel comfortable to describe, but it's not required. So, Nachi, can you remember your first kiss?
Yes, I was 12. Now I have 32, and I see how young I was when I did this, because 12 for me now is a kid yet. But the guy was 20 years old.
What?
Yes. Now I know how problem this is.
There's a really problem.
Yeah. But at the time, I was, oh, I don't know, he's nice. Let's go. We made some forró classes together and start
Oh,
to
class.
yeah, start to make friends and happen. At that time, I didn't see any problem, but now I know how problematic was the situation.
And I think that was a really complicated. No, it's not complicated. It's a kind of a jail, lock in the jail nowadays, please. And you, Sonia?
Nowadays, um, yes, I remember. I was 16 and I started the college and with a friend of mine. It was not a boyfriend or like something. I think it just one kiss, the first and the last with him. Because then after I had a boyfriend and he was my first husband because I married him when I was 20. Then I get divorced when I was 27. But my first kid was when I was 16. Like the first and the last one with that guy.
Yeah, mine was I was 11 and I was about to move to the city, to another city. And I knock at my neighbor's house. It's a girl that I liked it. I like her very much, and I said, I'm going to move. Can I kiss you, please? I and she was 13. Okay, I and I just ran away. And another and another day, we moved to. It was sad because I really liked her. But
It's
the
like a
one.
movie.
It's like a movie, but it won't work because she was my neighbor. It,
Uh,
it's never ends very well. But it was a good experiences, and I never saw him again. So job completely. Guys, I think our time is up. Unfortunately, I love the topic. I love the conversation.
I love the topic too. It was a very good conversation.
It really was. Thanks for that, Jennifer. Thanks for come here. William, vou falar em português agora. William, é assim que funciona. É sempre assim. Não há julgamentos, ninguém julga ninguém, ninguém corrige ninguém. A gente falou errado algumas vezes, tá tudo bem. E a gente vai aprendendo. É sempre 1 hora. Depois eu vou colocar isso aqui no chat para você, que é uma pesquisa. Você pode dar uma nota de 0 a 10 e colocar a sua sugestão, colocar a sua crítica, o que você achou ruim, o que você achou bem, bom, sugestão de tópico, o que você quer saber, o que a gente pode trazer de novo. E a gente se vê sempre na próxima semana. Sempre vai ter. E eu agradeço. Vou também ser um pouco inclusivo, que les agradeço-lhe, soy muy grato por tu Sônia, pela Nath, pela Jennifer, por ti também. E a gente acaba, a gente encerra. I hope you and I can see you in the next week, in the next events. And I think it is, guys.
Posso falar uma última coisa?
À vontade.
Especialmente para o William. William, quando eu ia começar aqui em TALKNTALK, eu tinha muito medo, porque meu idioma nativo não é português. Eu falo português um pouquinho, porque eu pratico com meu marido, que é brasileiro.
Fala muito bem.
Então, eu achava que ia ser muito difícil para mim português e inglês. Duas línguas que não são as minhas. Mas agora eu estou confortável. Eu comecei assim, nem que você, a minha primeira